Well. After 2 years of fake news and fake hearings and fake outrage by the liberal media regarding the events of January 6th, the tapes have been released.
Could this year get any fucking worse?
To one Tucker Carlson, and it does not disappoint. I'm Jasper Gonzo, and this is what's next. What's up, everyone? Jasper Gonzo, what's next? Your daily? How you guys doing today on this Tuesday? Well, the build-up. You knew it was coming. The teasers, the what's gonna happen? Well, it's here, and it's just a beginning. Kevin McCarthy, Speaker of the House, made a number of promises before becoming Speaker. One of them was going to be the release of the J6 tapes, of the 40,000+ hours of audio and video he was going to release to the public, because he felt that the public had a right to know. Transparency. Well, like I said, the time has come. He gave these tapes unfettered access to one Tucker Carlson. Why not? Give it to the biggest voice, give it to the biggest conservative pundit on the airwaves and the web that you could possibly give it to. And Tucker did not disappoint. Over the last several weeks, they've been combing through these videos of what is essential, what is necessary to show, and what is just the mundane, and it really doesn't do anything. But like I said in the beginning, he did not disappoint, or the video did not disappoint. Let's take a look. This comes out of New York Post, and of course, as we can see there, that is the, quote, QAnon shaman, or Chewbacca, as a lot of people call him. January 6th footage shows Capitol cops escorting the QAnon shaman to the Senate floor. And we'll show that video in just a bit. Oops, sorry about that. Let me get rid of that. Newly revealed surveillance footage from the January 6th 21 shows two Capitol police officers escorting Jacob Chansley, who is now infamously called the QAnon shaman, who has come to symbolize the riot, even though that didn't happen, through the halls of the Capitol and to the very doors of the U.S. Senate. The footage, aired on Tucker Carlson News Monday night, showed the officers closely following Chansley as he wandered the corridors of the Capitol, bare-chested and wearing face paint and a fur hat with Viking horns. Virtually every moment of this time inside the Capitol was caught on tape, says Carlson, who was granted exclusive access by Speaker Kevin McCarthy to 40,000+ hours of surveillance footage from that day around the Capitol, which has never been seen before by the public. The tape show the Capitol Police never stopped Jacob Chansley. They helped him. They acted as his tour guides. Look at that. You knew where the camera was, too. At one point, the officers are seen walking Chansley past 7 officers, milling around the U.S. Senate chamber, who barely gave him a second look. Then they escorted him to various entrances to the chamber, which appeared to be locked. Eventually helped him to open those doors. They just barrel their way in and just elbowed and clotheslined these cops. And no, the cops just let him go and let him enter. Chansley, 33-year-old naval veteran from Arizona, has been jailed for almost 4 years for obstructing an official proceeding. Not a breaking and entering, obstruction. In a jailhouse interview played by Carlson, he says, "The one very serious regret that I have is believing that we were waved in by police officers, that it was acceptable." These are the numbers of the video footage. Sorry about that. And a statement from the Capitol Police suggests that one of the officers with Chansley was trying to de-escalate the situation because he was outnumbered. But that does not explain Chansley, who was unarmed and was able to walk past 7 more officers, without being apprehended. None of them even tried to slow him down, says Carlson. He understood that the Capitol Police were his allies. If he acted in committing such a grave crime, why didn't officers stand right next to him and place him under arrest? That is one Jacob Chansley without the makeup and the horns. And yet the narrative formed on that day by Democrats and much of the media, Jacob Chansley became the face of January 6th, a dangerous conspiracy theorist dressed in an outlandish costume who led the violent, quote, insurrection to overthrow America's democracy. Carlson said. McCarthy has been criticized for releasing the footage to Carlson and plans to air 5 shows based on the footage over 2 nights, in which he demolishes the Democratic narrative of January 6th. As well as Chansley's story, Carlson will air footage in which he debunks the claim that Capitol Police officers Brian Sicknick was murdered by noters, which of course he wasn't. He died of a stroke. Other accusations against Republicans were promoted by heavily partisan January 6th committee are showing, of course, that lovely January 6th committee hearings. You know, they all became a clown show. That was a fucking clown show. Are shown in strikingly different light by the footage to be aired by Carlson, including a viral video of Senator Josh Hawley running away from rioters on the day in which appears to have been taken out of context. Claims that the Congressman Brian Loudermilk of Georgia guided insurrectionists around the Capitol to help them disrupt the Senate proceedings, contrast with footage of him showing constituents around the next door Rayburn building the previous evening. Quote, taken as a whole, the video record does not support the claim that January 6th was an insurrection, says Carlson. In fact, it demolishes the claim. That is exactly why the Democratic Party and its allies and the media stopped you from seeing it. By controlling images you are allowed to view from January 6th, they controlled how the public understood that day. They could lie about what happened, and you will never know the difference. Those lies had a purpose. They created a pretext for a federal crackdown on opponents of a uniparty in Washington. Democratic lawmakers such as Representative Jamie Raskin have warned that Carlson poses a, quote, serious security risk, and have accused Fox News of being a pro-Putin, pro-Orban, pro-autocrat propagandist. Yeah, you might just say pro-Cuban as well, pro-Castro. There you go. There are thousands of hours of footage that are out there already, Raskin told MSNBC, which of course no one watches. But the reason all of it wasn't released is precisely because it lays out the floor design, it lays out evacuation routes, it lays out where the vice president went, it lays out where the senior members of Congress were evacuated, and so on, yada, yada, yada. Carlson's team says the footage has been vetted by congressional authorities to ensure that it does not pose a security risk. They further point out that the January 6th committee aired footage of the evacuation routes of Vice President Mike Pence and Hawley. Having failed to stop the release of the footage last week, Representative Adam Schiff for Brains, criticized Carlson in a tweet, a weak man. I just watched this earlier today, the first of many from Carlson. And like I said, there was a lot of things, there was a lot of eye-opening things, but the majority of the story is correct. The fact of the matter is that Chansley and others that day, as you can see in the video, were basically escorted throughout the building. There was these cops didn't stand in front of them with batons in hand, grabbing their sidearms and saying, "How dare you get out of the Capitol building?" Ooh! No, you had none of that. None of that. None. It was like a setup of some sort. But, anywho, those tapes did not disappoint. You're talking 40,000 plus hours that Tucker Carlson's team had to sift through for the last 2 to 3 weeks. So it'll be interesting to see what he's going to show next. But I look forward to it. And I hope those of you, who were all on board with this insurrection, instead of a breaking and entering, which is what they should have been arrested for, which is what they should have been charged with, instead of basically spending, like Chansley has been, 4+ years in the gulags because of Democrats and libs who were offended that Donald Trump had won re-election. 81 million votes. 81 million votes. And I'm sure Barack was at home watching this and just having a good old laugh. And unfortunately, dementia was pretty much crying. And with that being said, I'm Jazz Borganzo. This is What's Next. Want to see more just like this? Please leave a comment below, like it, share, subscribe to it, and we'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.